Yay! I'm live. Welcome to those who are going to join me live today. I'm just going to get started and presume that you're all here. And I'm really excited about today because I'm teaching one of the subjects that I'm so passionate about because it's just honestly, in so many ways, it's done wonders to my singing, my life, my business, and I'm really excited to be teaching this moving forward and how we can apply this modality, EFT, emotional freedom technique, as singers. But also, I know that a few of you who are going to pop on today are teachers, your singing teachers or your classroom teachers. So you can use this in the classroom for. I hate the word behavior management, but let's go there. But to really teach the students how to calm their nervous system so that you'll get a more flowing classroom environment, but also how you can use it in the singing studio as well with your students. It's a really powerful technique. Now, before I start, I just want to quickly introduce myself because, I assume that the people that are on this live know me, but, maybe you don't. So I'm going to just say who I am. I'm Mel Lathuris. I'm a singer. I'm a jazz singer, actually, specifically. However, I have been venturing off into other genres. And I've created Fearless Singer, which is a community for singers, really to empower singers to overcome those fear-based narratives that are holding us back from, one, just reaching our full potential vocally, because a lot of the stuff, even though we can be always working on our technique, a lot of the things that can hold us back are some of those stories, some of those beliefs that we have about our voice. And when we do overcome those, we notice that the technique that we apply on a daily basis actually is way more powerful, because effectively our mind is our instrument. It's what's calling all the shots. And also those narratives that are holding us back from really putting ourselves out there. I attract to the community people that can, really sing, and they come here and they believe that they're beginners. It's always just it blows my mind every time someone walks through the door and says, I haven't sung before. You're the first person I'm singing in front of. And then they sing and you're like, oh my bloody God. Why hasn't anyone pushed you out on a stage? So effectively, sometimes I think I'm almost like a bit of a stage mum. I'm just going to get you out there because you're wonderful. You've got this beautiful voice and you've got this compelling story. Everyone that walks through this door does. And I feel like we all do. We all have this amazing story to share. And then once we find our stage, our platform, it's like it's all expansive from there. So that's what Fearless Singer is about. It's really just empowering these beautiful, big-hearted people to tell their story and to do it through song. And whether it's on a traditional stage or even creating a platform for themselves on social media or just within their communities, or even sometimes it's really about encouraging people that have got this desire to sing in groups and in a community to do that as well. So I'm really passionate about Fearless Singer because the reason why it was created was I've always struggled with confidence, in the past. And you wouldn't believe it because I grew up just like this little, I looked like a little extrovert. I loved to perform. It was my love language. I loved to make people happy through singing and also through telling jokes on stage. I discovered pretty early on that, I don't know. I don't think I'm personally that funny in real life, but on stage, for some reason, this little alter ego takes over. But despite all of that, and despite, receiving really beautiful validation from audience members and from family and encouragement, I always struggled with my self-esteem and confidence and putting myself out there, and always feeling like, oh no, there's someone better who should be going for that, that kind of thing. So I've worked really consistently on undoing that narrative, and one of the biggest things that has helped me in that process is EFT, emotional freedom technique. It's something that I discovered probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and I discovered it not to really help my singing, but it was actually to do with at the time overeating, emotional eating. So I was using it for that and to healing that, and also just to help with stress management. And then I realized, well, hang on, I can apply this to my singing. And I did a study at university. There was a self-study, and I was like, I'm going to work on using this to develop my low notes, because I've always struggled, well, in the past, not anymore. I had struggled with accessing anything below a middle C. And, I always thought there's something technically wrong, or there is actually something physically wrong. Perhaps, I've got a smaller larynx, which I think, I actually do have a fairly small larynx. But I developed all these narratives around why I couldn't access my low notes. And then once I started to unravel those beliefs, and I'm going to share more about that today in this class, then all of a sudden it wasn't like this miraculous, like suddenly I'm singing these low G's and, but over like a course of like a few months, I just began to become less stressed about the idea of not being able to access my low notes. I was way more just relaxed about it. So I took a lot of the shame away from not being able to sing low notes, and I'll talk more about that. And the stress of, suddenly getting to, maybe the middle of my gig, and it's like even my middle C wasn't there. That just completely flipped, so I wasn't like getting halfway through my gig and being like, oh, I can't access those notes anymore. To now just being able to access those notes. Now, listen, I'm not a foghorn on those lower notes. They're there. They're not like, I'm not Sarah Vaughan, none of us are like Sarah Vaughan, because she was one of a kind. But I am definitely, myself, and I've embraced my own voice that can access those notes. Again, they're not like, oh, but they're there, and I can use them, and I can, I can leverage my strengths as a singer now to create the sound that I really love and enjoy using. So I'll talk more and more about that as we go on. But just to be clear about this presentation, it's about 50 minutes. It's really an overview. It's explaining how we can apply emotional freedom technique to our singing, and how we can develop our instruments, but also how we can also use this to become more open and receptive to achieving our goals as singers and putting ourselves out there. So how we can really start tackling those things, such as the fear of visibility, or even imposter syndrome is a massive one that comes up for singers. And then also how we can apply it in the studio. I just used it with one of my beautiful clients yesterday, who was about to do a first gig, and that just really reframed everything for her. She was actually getting physical sickness in the stomach from the nerves about this gig, which just came really quickly for her. So that was as a result of tapping, because previous to that, she wasn't in a band, but now she's in a band, and they had their first gig, and this has all happened really quickly for her. So there was a lot of nerves about that, so we were able to release that with tapping. And then also what we're going to do is end on a tapping session, so you can actually apply it straight away. Learn the process, and then you can start applying it with yourself or in the studio. Now, also want to mention too that I just want to be really transparent. At the end, I will be inviting you to do another workshop if you so desire. It's tomorrow night. It's 2 hours, so it's quite It's a little bit more, involved. It's going to be super interactive, not too much of us, oh my God, me, myself, and myself talking, but more of us tapping. And that's not going to be here like in a live situation. It's going to be in Zoom. So it's, it's very much about it's like a group workshop. So that's actually tomorrow night. There will be a replay available as well if you can't make it. But yeah, I just wanted to be really clear that at the end of this, I'm going to be inviting you to that, and also announce something really exciting that I'm going to launch starting now, which is free and really about growing this beautiful community, Fearless Singer community, and just providing more opportunity for us to empower ourselves as singers. So yeah, I'm really excited about that at the end, which I'll announce. And so with that, let's get started. And by the way, I'm new to this technology, so please bear with me. Oh, yay, Kerry. Hi, Mel. Thanks for offering this intro to EFT. Oh, thanks so much for being here. Bless you. So I'm just going to go to the slides. Oh, look at that. Oh, sorry. I'm excited by technology. It's like, oh, it works. Wow. If you've been following my journey for a bit, I do have a bit of technology anxiety that I work on constantly with EFT. So I'm in a much better place with technology now. But for a while there, it was literally doing my head in. So yes, I give you EFT for singers, an intro. And by the way, I just want to encourage you that if you do have any observations, stories, or questions, anything that you're left wondering, please write a comment. So you can do that via Facebook or via Facebook. I just said Facebook via Facebook or YouTube. Hey, Kelly, I'm excited to catch this live session. Your podcasts are inspiring. Oh, thanks, Kel. You're bloody inspiring, mate. Love you, and thank you so much for joining us. All right, so EFT for singers in intro. And I should have done this right at the beginning. I just want to acknowledge country. I acknowledge the Turrbal and Yagara people, the traditional and ongoing custodians of Meejin, where I create and work from. And I'd like to pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. And also I'd like to acknowledge the traditional and ongoing custodians of the land and seas where you are, and pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. And in today's class, so we're going to cover what EFT, what actually is it? This strange thing where we hit ourselves, not hit, but gently tap and affirm things. So I'm going to explain to you what it is. And also I'm going to show you a slide. I'm going to, for those people who actually registered today, I'm going to send you this PDF because I've got a few links in there that's going to be super helpful for you. We're also going to cover how this can be applied to your singing. I'm just going to touch a little bit more on my own tapping story and how I use this modality to get those low notes happening, but also how I've really, honestly, just done a 180 on my self-esteem as a singer and putting myself out there, and really going for big opportunities now that I never used to, and some of them are starting to really pay off. I can't say too much at the moment. I'm waiting for a project to be approved, but once it does, it's going to be a massive deal. And it's also going to bring up a lot of stuff around imposter. I know it will, because remembering, like, we can clear a lot of this stuff to get us to the next leg of our journey, but there's always going to be something that comes up for us. We're like onions. We're just constantly peeling through the layers. And that's okay. And that's what makes life bloody exciting. And we're going to end on a tapping session so you can actually feel it and experience it for yourself. All right. The other thing I just wanted to warn you is when we do tapping, it is actually thirsty work. So you're actually, strangely, you are releasing toxins that are going to be coming up, and you want to, you just want to keep drinking. So to have your water next to you. So this is a good opportunity maybe now just to walk your laptop or your phone over to the sink and pour yourself a big glass of water and just have it next to you, or have your bottle of water next to you. Okay, so what is EFT? It stands for Emotional Freedom Technique Tapping. In the comments, please let me know if you kind of know what it's about. But essentially what it is, it's a process where you're tapping on different points of your body which are connected to your meridian. Now, your meridian is your energetic body, and I know this may sound a little woo, and I'm just going to be really upfront that I'm super woo. So, however, I do like to acknowledge, the science behind all of this as well. And EFT now is very much being embraced by psychologists and embraced by the medical community. There are clinical studies that are constantly happening, and they're finding amazing results. I'm going to guide you to Dr. Peter Stapleton's work. You can check out her website. She's very generous on her website with her resources, where you can read about those clinical trials and studies. She's based at Bond University. So yeah, there is scientific credibility to emotional freedom technique. And also too, we have been, I think as a Western culture, we've been embracing a lot of Eastern traditions for decades now. So we're familiar with the work of acupuncture, acupressure. We embrace shiatsu. That they all work on that meridian body, so our energetic body. And each of these tapping points, like I said, are related to that body. And what actually happens is when there are, beliefs or thoughts that happen consistently over time that feel like discordance in the body, what actually happens is it manifests first in the energetic body, and then it also manifests physically. Yeah. So the idea of EFT is that we're really starting to very, objectively start to view some of those narratives so we can then interrupt them. So this is a pattern interrupter. So we're going, okay, this is what's coming up for us. We clear it. So we talk about it. So we affirm it while we're tapping through those points. And the idea is then to release the emotional charge and to interrupt those thought patterns. So then we can create new neural pathways that are going to be more around growth mindset and how we can start to reframe things. I'm going to talk a little bit further about that affirmation process and what that looks like. Now, for it to feel good in the nervous system, we need to try and stay as truthful as we can. So when we're telling the story of what is actually coming up for us, what is that we're feeling right now. So if it's around imposter syndrome, how does that feel? How's it manifesting in our 3D reality? So we talk about it. And then we release some of that emotional charge and we scale it between 1 and 10. And then once that number comes down, then we start retelling a new story. We offer a reframe. However, I always encourage, particularly my clients that I work with, to start with a reframe that feels true. So, releasing imposter syndrome, talking about it, and then going straight to Beyonce status. I'm Beyonce, I'm Lizzo, 100%, that might not feel 100% true. You want to start with listen, I'm open to a new belief around this. Just using language that feels good for the nervous system and it feels truthful. EFT is a pattern interrupter. It's a way of almost journaling out loud what is happening for us, what are we experiencing while we're tapping through the points. And then it gives us the opportunity then to create new neural pathways by affirming what is it that we want to change, or how is it that we want, what do we want to believe, and what is it that we want to call in, to our 3D experience. When I talk about 3D experience, I'm talking about this, what we have around us, So when we affirm things, we're really actually just creating what is going to happen in this reality, So I like to see our journey here is we're we're like, Murder She Wrote, she's tapping away. Like, we're like that. We're tapping away at this story and it's all manifesting and it's getting created in our 3D reality. If that feels a bit woo to you, good. Good. Okay, so that's a bit of a snapshot about what EFT is. Now, some people you can check out. I mentioned before, my apologies, I should have written Dr. Peter Stapleton. People work so hard for that doctor, pronoun. I should have put that there. So yeah, I'm going to send you this PDF link so you can go across and check them out, or you can, after this, Google them. So yeah, lots of research on her website, so you can read through that. Brad Yates is like the papa of the EFT world. He's such a lovely guy and he's so good. And there is an absolute treasure trove of tapping sessions that you can do on his YouTube channel. So I've actually just linked his YouTube channel. He also does have a website and he has courses, and you can go and check that out as well. Anything that you can think of, he has a tapping sequence on it. Yeah, so please check his work out. And also the tapping solution is a great resource as well. There's plenty of information there about, just getting started. Again, more about the modality and different sequences that you can do. I'm just going to put it out there to the universe. I would like to be the tapping, go-to for singers, because a lot of the stuff, oh man, I know you can relate to this. I think to sign up in this lifetime as a singer, it's a spiritual journey in itself. There is so much stuff that we are unraveling, uncovering, learning about ourselves. It's literally, I feel like to sign up in this lifetime as a singer is the quick way to enlightenment. Dare I say it? We just have to. We put up with a lot of things that are created from our own fear-based ego. And also we do that so that we can stand on stage and then really expose ourselves with, it's such a vulnerable activity to an audience. And then while we're doing that, while we're having this conversation with our audience, so singing, we may be like looking at faces of people going, or I actually went to a gig once and there was a lady going in the audience. Oh, well, I was singing and she was doing this. And then so there's all of that. And there's also, we are way more open to helpful critical feedback. There's so much things that we need to work through to get to the point where we can step on a stage, and even working with other musicians, and maybe we are fantastic singers, but we've got some knowledge gaps in music, and that makes us feel less than. Just all certain things come up, and we can all relate to it. So I just think having a dedicated YouTube channel, and this is my dream, my goal, to empower singers with EFT is, I feel like we need that the world needs that. So, and I'm happy to offer that. Okay, so I want to talk you through my tapping story with the low note. So I did touch on it in the beginning. But I want to take you back. So I had a wonderful singing teacher in Bundaberg. So I'm from Bundy, which is North Queensland, if you're not familiar with it. And I actually grew up with classical training. My teacher, Robin Egger, is still a brilliant singing teacher. And because her background is in classical, I think she's very... she's done so much more training in the last decade to help contemporary singers. But when I was going through, it was very much about classical singing. And I developed some fantastic skills with that. However, somewhere I think in my training, and this is no fault to Robin, it was definitely myself, I developed the belief that it was wrong to sing from your throat. Now I'm going to talk you through that a little bit more, because we know now what's happening is that when someone is singing from their throat, it just means that they're, over constricting. And I also developed the belief that in order to sing my low notes, I would have to sing from my throat. Like, I just didn't understand anything about resonance or where to project the voice to get those sounds. I didn't quite understand what it meant to sing from, with deconstriction. I didn't really, and of course my wonderful teacher was teaching me things, but I wasn't quite connecting voice to body and postural alignment. There was a mishmash of things. And then on top of that, in my 20s, I sang in a lot of rock bands. I was also a little bit naughty. I would go out and drink quite a lot and not drink enough water, like as we do. We have those little binge weekends as kids. Well, not all of us. I shouldn't project. That was my experience. So dehydrated, singing incorrectly, and singing, in very loud venues. Not only singing in loud venues, but also talking in loud venues. Not having adequate fallback. I developed nodules. However, not kind of connecting the dots. I thought it had something to do with trying to push too hard from my throat, and it was all to do with these low notes. So again, can you see how these beliefs that we create start to grow legs, and then they become very, very meshed in our psyche and our understanding, and all sometimes based on incorrect information, that we're pulling in. The other thing too is I was extremely head voice dominant. So I was sitting mostly in my M2, even when I spoke. So I kind of spoke a little bit more up here, and then when I'd get up on stage to sing my rock music, then I'd just increase the volume on the M2 without the correct support and not understanding. Yeah, not really understanding. I had no understanding of breath support, even though it was explained to me. I just never got it on the physical level. Again, it was just that early training, not connecting the dots, with body and voice. As a younger person, not quite understanding the information. So yeah, the low notes. It was an issue. So I ended up studying journalism. I didn't do music straight away. I went overseas, did more work with rock bands over in London, came back to Shanghai, and I did a lot of teaching there, teaching English, and literally I came back talking like this. I had proper nodules, but I didn't even know about it. So let that heal for a bit. And then I signed up to do my Bachelor of Music and Jazz Performance, and my voice was kind of quasi-healed, but not quite. I think I would have still had a bit of the onset of nodules, or like they were just about to go away. But I was experiencing, so I'd have these jazz standards, and a lot of them, as with jazz standards, they're a little bit tricky to get right in terms of keys. So the thing is, I was undoing my classical training, because I auditioned for jazz, my jazz course, and I was singing Misty like this. Look at me, I'm as helpless, which is, more of a classical styling. And in order to stop doing that, I felt like I had to bring the keys down. However, I was not able to reach those low A's and low G's. So it was just this tricky balance of trying to find a key that suited my voice, that wasn't going to allow me to, get all waffly and classical on it. Sorry to say waffly. I'm not putting down the classical sound, but in a jazz context, it's not correct. I inverted commas that, because now we know that with jazz you can pretty much do whatever the bloody hell you like. But at that time, I was really keen on getting that real traditional jazz style. Um, so yeah, there was a lot of shame around not being able to access those low notes. And to make things worse, because my nodules hadn't properly healed, I would get like, so one good thing about my university that I went to, the Jazz Music Institute in Bowen Hills, if you're a teacher, can you please, if you have a student that is interested in jazz, can you please let them consider JMI? It is one of the best, I would say it is the best jazz music training in all of Australia. I haven't been to all the other universities. I've been to the conservatorium to do my master's. But yeah, to get that real solid foundation in jazz, please send your kids to JMI. Just at least get them to consider it or look at it. Because it was amazing. I was pretty much gigging from my first year. Like I was out there doing gigs. And this is what gets me to my next story. So I'd get to like halfway through a gig and then those notes below middle C just weren't there. Okay, so then, I was doing a little bit of EFT work around overeating and regulating my stress. And then I thought, hang on, how about I try and correct this low note situation? And so I did, and I made it part of one of my studies, a self-directed study at JMI, and got to work. So it was a consistent process. So it was learning about EFT properly and doing a tapping sequence pretty much every day, because we know that with a lot of this behavior change modalities, it's like, practicing an instrument. The consistent daily action is what is required to get yourself to wherever it is that you want to go. So the things that I started to notice through my tapping session is that I had, again, lots of shame around not being able to sound jazz enough and not being able to sing those low notes. Also shame around, well, I've done something wrong with my voice. I've harmed it. It's, there's something there, and then there's something inherently wrong with me. So it wasn't even just like, let's try and fix this. This was like, no, there's something deeply inherently wrong with me because I'm not making the sounds that I want. I'm just going to take a sip of water. So I got to work really around releasing the shame first. And, so bringing those stories that were circulating in my system, and if I had any little trigger moment where I felt like a bit of a discord in my body, I knew, okay, well, what is that just happened? What was the belief that led me there? Then I'd keep a little record of it, and then I'd tap on it, So then, so I did that for like a good month, and then I started noticing that I just didn't care about the low notes. I just didn't care. Like, I would get up at CPP, so this was the performance subject for JMI, where there'd be a lot of nerves, and I previously had consistent feedback, like sort out your low notes. And in the past, that would be like also another kind of fear moment, like, oh, they're going to say the same thing about my low notes, But this time I was just like, I just really don't care. If they're there, they're there. If not, I'll just make something up. I just won't, And then I started to notice at gigs, I wasn't losing below the middle C, So that started to appear as evidence. And look, just gradually over time with tapping and obviously the actual work, the technical work that was required, now I'm at a stage where I can sing those low notes. They're there. And again, I have like a lighter textured sound. You can hear in my speaking voice. They're not like Sarah Vaughan, but that's okay because I'm not Sarah Vaughan and no one is going to be Sarah Vaughan. Sarah Vaughan is Sarah Vaughan, but we can leverage. I started to get into the mindset of leveraging my strengths as a singer to be more of Mel Lethurus. And that's what we obviously, that's our work, is to be more of ourselves, to be the best version of ourselves. And that's what I encourage fearless singers to do in the community. And I invite you to share that teaching to your students as well and to yourself. So that's my low note story. Now, from a very technical point of view, I had a weak M1 chest voice. So on top of the EFT work, I was doing work to build those notes. And also I was doing remedial work in deconstricting, learning how to speak more efficiently and effectively. So I went to a speech path. I went to an ENT first, obviously, got diagnosed with the nodules, worked with a speech path, worked on deconstriction exercises daily. I also, during my master's, was introduced to accent method breathing, which very much helped everything because, as we know, as singers and teachers, airflow is everything. It's everything. And then that was supercharged by going to those deep emotional layers and releasing the shame, releasing the embarrassment, releasing the beliefs around not being enough, being wrong. There's something wrong I'm doing and I can't figure out what it is. And it was doing that tapping work that led me to that technical work that I needed, because I was in more of an open, receptive mindset to receive that information, and not only just receive it, but to be able for it to happen. So like do the work, and my body was starting to learn how to re-speak, and how to rebuild that instrument. And that's the other thing too. I think if we're not tackling the mindset with the technical work, we could be doing the technical work, but not really getting the results that we want. So this modality is a way of supercharging that. Anyway, I've just got to be mindful of the time because I have a tendency of going over, and I'm honoring your time today as well. And I just really, again, want to thank you so much for being here live. I'm so excited that you're receiving this information, and I can't wait to hear your stories, by the way. If you try this for a little bit, I just want to hear from you what's working. I just get personally inspired, but also too, if you share it where people can see here in the Facebook or YouTube, you're inspiring other people. So I think I've covered this, like how this can be applied to singing. We really want to be doing the mindset work with the voice work. And this is one structured modality, and it's so simple to integrate into your daily routine that, you'll do it maybe for 5-10 minutes a day. And at first you won't probably see things straight away, but then you'll get like a month in and be like, oh my bloody God, I can do this, this, and this. How did that actually work? Because it actually it's such a powerful but subtle. It's these tiny little shifts that we make in our perspective. This is what it does to create the big miracle for us. I also want to say too that I use this daily to help with my mindset around finances because I'm now full-time business. I had to really work on my fear response to not seeing that regular paycheck come in that classroom teaching provided me. So I've completely, it blows me away because I don't even want to describe to you the anxiety that I used to feel around money. It was because I don't want to call it back into my experience. But now it's just like, she'll be right, mate. You'll come in, things will come in, and they do. And then you get to the end of the month and you're like, oh my God, I made that much money. And this is the work that this does, or you can do it for your health. You get to the end of the month and suddenly your vitamin D levels are great, your cholesterol levels are great. You may have maintained a healthy weight for you or whatever it is. So this can be applied to many aspects of your life. Now, I just want to mention in the studio, because I know that a few of us here live now are teachers. So I just want to invite you to even have a little go at practicing this with a student who may be open to it. So obviously, you need the consent first from your student to say, hey, listen, I'm just trialing this new modality that I've been seeing that it's getting some amazing results with, singers and different students. And I would like to see if this may help you. Are you interested? And you can tell them a little bit more about it. Because I want to show you or explain to you how I used it yesterday, just yesterday, with a student who, in the past, even though is so ridiculously talented, naturally talented, just the most charismatic, engaging performer with a beautiful voice, has suffered crippling anxiety around performance. And so she quit for quite a while, for quite a few years. So she was doing quite a lot of acting. She was doing a lot of gigs and a lot of performing. And then she just went, you know what? This anxiety is too much. And she just quit. And she's only just come back to feel a singer about a year ago. And so we've been really working on, her goals and working on releasing this anxiety. So we've got to a point now where she performed at the Feel a Singer jam last week. So that's part of our membership, is that the members come and perform. I book a band. We're at a live venue. And so she performed and she was amazing. And on top of that, she's managed to use EFT to call in her band members. So she's attracted a group of amazing humans, lovely, kind, supportive. So and this has all happened really quickly, only in a matter of months since being in the membership. And yesterday, so because everything happened so quick for her, she had this gig. She was like, shit, I've got this gig tonight. And there was I could tell in her body, she was like, oh, she was up for it. She's going to do it. But I could tell that she had a bit of anxiety. So I just said, okay, let's just tune in. How are you feeling? Where are you, about this gig? And she said, oh, I'm actually really worried about it, because it's happened really quick. We've had some rehearsals, but, And I said, okay, well, where are you feeling it? And she said, oh, very much in my stomach. It actually bloody hurt. So she was this really tight abdominal wall, and you could see that she had tension in her jaw. So then we got to tapping, and so we tapped around, even though I'm really worried about this gig tonight and it's happened really quickly, I don't feel prepared, and I have this excruciating pain in my stomach, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And we tapped through, and we were able to bring up, well, what are the underlying beliefs there? And they were all around not being prepared, not trusting herself, not feeling really not good enough, thinking that if it all goes to shit, excuse my language, sometimes I swear a bit. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Mum, if you're listening. If it goes pear-shaped, then there's that possibility of, her band members won't, want her, all that sort of stuff that we create for ourselves. And God, I hope she's okay with me telling this story. Probably should have cleared this with her first. I think she would. I think she'd be happy to share this. And I'll get her on the podcast because she's so inspiring. Anyway, so she cleared it. She went to a gig. I really need to check in on her today, but I know she would have done well because she was just an absolute standout star last week. But she felt way better. And all that tension from her stomach was released. And so that's something you could do. So if maybe some blocks that manifest in the studio is when you're teaching an exercise and your student's not quite getting it, and it doesn't matter that the worst thing you can do is just so you do the adequate number of repetitions. So obviously 3 to 5 times. And if it starts, you can see that, oh my God, they're so frustrated and they get a little bit, there's an emotional charge there, then maybe that's the time to say, hey, listen, I've got this great modality. Can we just trial it? And even in the beginning, it doesn't have to be a full round. You can just get them to tap on the karate chop point or the collarbone and just talk how they're feeling. Talk about what's actually happening and just get them to release that constriction physically and emotionally from their body in that moment. Anyway, so that's how we can apply it as singing teachers. So we've got 7 minutes. We might go a little bit over time, and feel free to leave. I just want to honor your time. But I think one of the most overarching beliefs that we have as singers is that we're not enough. We're not good enough. And it will come up at different parts of our journey. We may get to a leg in our journey where we are gigging quite, constantly. We're working with great people. However, we have a fear around recording, and we really want to go and make an album, and it always comes back to this. I'm not enough. I'm not enough. So I'm going to take you through a tapping routine. I'm just going to come back to the full screen. So I'm just going to remove that. By the way, I'm going to send that to you as a PDF. Cool. All right. So take a sip of water. I like saying the reason why I went water is there's this amazing, I forgot to put her name, Gala Darling. Check her out too. She's incredible. So many resources around tapping. But she has this, she always encourages her community to drink water. And she's Kiwi as well, but she's got an American accent because she lives in LA. She goes, now drink some water. Okay. So you just copy me. I'm going to try and not go too fast. And just and I can repeat very slowly. I'll try and keep it super. It won't be a long tapping process. It's really just to give you an idea of what to do. Okay, so I'm just going to move that a bit. So we always start on the karate chop point. I'm going to just quickly take you through the points. So we go karate chop point, and this is for our setup statement. Then we go in between the eyebrows. Look, I've got to, because of the camera. So we tap there. I use two hands, by the way. You can use one, it doesn't really matter. Then there's a side of the eyes, underneath the eyes, underneath the nose, on the chin, collarbone, underneath the arms, or the armpit. I like using this one. It's the wrist. Brad Yates doesn't use this. This is a Gala Darling move, but I really like it. I can really feel that connection there. And then the top of the head. So they're our tapping points. And again, they're related to a different part of our meridian. So we always start with a setup statement, and we cushion it with these words. We go, even though, whatever it is that's coming up for you, I can't access these low notes, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Now, if deeply and completely love feels a bit too strong, just say, I accept myself, or I accept this, I just also want to preface too that this is one of the most forgiving modalities. You can't F it up. You just really can't. Honestly, you will still see results. So I just want you to really give yourself that grace around this process. So let's do the tapping session on I'm Not Enough. Even though I don't think I'm good enough for, and you can actually be specific. It could be to do this gig or to sing on stage or to work with a band. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. We do this 3 times. So you try it. So even though I'm not good enough to do whatever it is that you want. I don't know why I'm making fart noises. Jeez. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I don't feel good enough to do, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So if you have just done that setup statement, I know it doesn't matter that you have to stop to move your mouse or press something. Just give me a little like, or a little thumbs up in the comments. Okay. Now we're going to go through the different points. And this is where we tell the story of around not being enough. So what is actually coming up for us now? And we try to repeat different words that give us a real emotional charge. Now, I forgot to mention before we even start this, we actually gauge between 1 and 10, how big is that emotional response for us? So it could be like, actually, I really feel like I'm not enough and it's giving me gross anxiety, and it's a 10, So gauge between 1 and 10 how you're feeling around this topic. Now, between the eyes, it's so funny because of the camera. I just don't know how to position it. Okay, here we go. Oh, hey, Julie, thank you. So Oh, all these feelings around not being enough. Just repeat after me. All these feelings around not being enough. It just, the idea of doing whatever it is that you want to do, sing with the band, just fills me with so much anxiety. I feel it, and you say, where in your body? So really scanning the body now. And for me, I feel a lot in my gut and in my throat. So I'm feeling this not enoughness in my stomach and in my throat. All these feelings of icky, not being good enough. Like, what if I embarrass myself? I don't want to look stupid. I don't want other people to tell me that I look stupid or I should just give up. What if I'm opening myself up to severe criticism? So that's the wrist. It would just fill me with so much shame. Between the eyebrows. In fact, I'm feeling shame even just thinking about it. And not only am I opening myself up to criticism to other people, from other people, I'm opening myself up to criticism from myself. I just don't want to embarrass myself. All these feelings around embarrassment, shame in my body. It's just making me super anxious, even just thinking about doing this. Whatever it is that you want to put yourself out there to do. I just don't know enough. I don't know enough about music or whatever it is. I don't even think I'm capable of achieving this. I don't know the right people. So talking in that context of putting on a show or working in a band. Like, and who am I? Who am I to even think I'm capable of achieving any of this? And top of the head. And I feel like my voice needs to be way better than what it is. There are more people that are way more talented than me. They can sing better. They've got more going for them. They actually have an album. I don't. They have more followers on social media. Of course they'll be more successful doing this. I can't even show myself on social media. I'm too embarrassed. And, technically my voice needs way more work to get to that point. And I'm so busy. Sorry, I'll give you some time to say that last one. And I'm way too busy in my life right now to even do that kind of work to get ready. But I'm open to releasing these feelings of anxiety and shame in every aspect of my cellular being and in every direction of time and space. And we take a deep breath. And release. And then we just gauge, okay, well, how is that feeling between 1 and 10? Is the emotional charge, the anxiety still up there? Then if that's the case, then we redo that same tapping sequence, but talking about, again, more about what's coming up specifically. Now, I just want to mention a couple of things. One is that you might think, God, that seems rather negative, like in the beginning. So I just want to quickly talk on that. Is that we want to be we want to be acknowledging what is it that we're experiencing, what is it that we're feeling. And sometimes the stuff that comes out of your mouth, you go, whoa, do I actually think that? Because a lot of it we're dredging up from our subconscious and in different parts of our body where that memory or belief is stored in, because we know now that our organs actually do store memory. So you're actually dredging a lot of stuff up, and it could be just like, you just on a conscious level, you just go, whoa, I can't believe that I think that, So it's really about getting it all up to the surface, because we know, like, when we heal, our body heals, we know that the body does that. Like, all this gunk, excuse the language, but the gunk comes up first before it can heal. So that's why we tap on, and it seems rather negative, but we want to be non-judging of ourselves, because remember, we're just these cute little sponges, and we've just taken on all this, information, and some of it's just our wires got crossed a little bit, or we've been traumatized by certain, situations or events in our past. So remember, that's what we're dealing with, and I want you to see yourself as this cute little kid that just, wants to be heard. Okay, so we're really just nourishing ourselves during this process. Drink some water. Now, when you feel like that number has gone down, so yeah, okay, I'm not that anxious about it anymore, maybe a 4, that's when we start affirming the new story, what it is that we want to bring into our reality. Now, like I said in the beginning, we don't want to quickly jump up to like, oh yeah, baby, I'm Lizzo, I'm so confident. We want our nervous system to believe us, so we want to start where it feels true. So we can start with, despite these feelings of anxiety, I'm open to change. That's true, isn't it? We're so open. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this. I'm open to creating a new story around not being enough. Yeah. I'm open to life showing me and validating me that I am enough. That's true. You'd be open to that. I'd be open to that. I'm open to finding the right support to help me through this process. That could be in the way of, videos on YouTube, or articles, or mentors. I'm open to completely releasing these feelings of shame around whatever it is, the anxiety of not being good enough, and the specific. I'm open to releasing it in every part of my cellular being, so every part of you, your body, and in every direction of space and time. That one's a little bit meta, but I'll explain that in another video. And I'm just open to accepting myself a bit more. And I'm also open to meeting people that have similar thoughts and feelings and experiences, because that would be super validating, wouldn't it? Just to know that you're not alone in this. I'm also open just to completely changing this narrative. Maybe it doesn't actually require a lot of catching up, with knowledge gaps or correcting voice issues to be able to do this. And say, for instance, I'll let you speak. Say that again. And what did I just say? Oh, yeah. And if it was to do with a performing thing, like you want to put yourself out on stage, maybe actually it wouldn't take a lot of work. Maybe it would just be a matter of setting a date and just going for it and seeing what happens. Maybe I can find the right support to get me there. I'm open to finding a solution, one that isn't going to put too much pressure on myself, but will still be a bit of a deadline where I can perform and sing. Maybe that could look like a jam. Or maybe I could sign up to some music classes where I work with an ensemble. By the way, this isn't a promo plug, but JMI offer night classes where you can work in a band. I'm open to releasing this anxiety in my body because I know that it's not going to serve me. I'm open to releasing all of this shame and anxiety in every aspect of my cellular being and every direction of time and space. And I'm open to new opportunities. And take a deep breath. And then hopefully that number has gone down again and you're feeling a little bit more energized. Now, things that I experience after I do a tapping session, I do feel way more open. I tend to just go straight to the piano and like bang something out and, I don't know, write a song. Also, the other day, this is completely tangent, I did this, the dead cockroach routine where you're on your back and you go for 2 minutes. I got up and then wrote a song. So it's really about releasing this old stagnant energy from our body so that we can then go and do the things that we want to do and love to do. Now, that comes to the end of today's intro. So I haven't 100%, I've gone the hour, so 10 minutes over. I just want to just invite you, if you want to do some more training around this, you're really keen and you want a few more tapping sequences, and also do it in like more of a classroom, so over Zoom. So you'll come, attend, we acknowledge each other, we talk to each other, it's way more interactive. Then I just invite you to come along tomorrow night to our, hang on, let me just share my screen. Yeah, come along to the Emotional Freedom Technique for Singers, Sing with Confidence, Live Them Dreams. So it's going to be 2 hours. It's tomorrow night. You'll discover way more about Emotional Freedom Technique. You're going to learn how to become a detective as to what's holding you back from singing in your full voice, commanding the stage and living this life of your dreams. Honestly, this is probably one of the closest things to magic that I know of, and it's going to be transformative. So there will, if you can't actually attend live, but I do encourage you to come live, there will be a replay that you can access for 30 days. It's $97, but yeah, it's a whole 2 hours, and I promise that I will stay on time as well, because I know that Monday nights are a bit tricky energetically if you've had a big day. But hopefully, not hopefully, I know it will, you'll feel way more energized after you do this 2-hour session tomorrow night. It's my intention that this just is so inspiring for you, that you know that you can create whatever change, whatever it is. You can create it, and you can create some incredible opportunities in your life. And I'm seeing it firsthand with the Fearless Singer members, who are doing this work daily. They are doing the most insanely inspiring things. I've got one of my students who is here. She's always been in bands. I hope she doesn't mind me saying who she is. Paula. She's amazing. Paula Hackney. Please check out Melody Graves and the Hokum Redemption. She's discovering parts of her voice that she didn't realize she had, and it's just blowing her mind. And she's really starting to work with other musicians as well. But she has an amazing band. But she's just just expanding. And I know that she is just going to honestly just skyrocket, and she is skyrocketing. Another wonderful Julie Berry, who is an actor, has got the most amazing idea for a show which she's going to put on at the end of the year, where she is going to be doing drag. She's going to be a drag king, and I'll have to get her on the podcast. I'll have to get Paula and Julie on the podcast separately to talk about their different projects. We're really working on releasing all those blocks, all those fears, so that we can create exactly what it is that we want in this lifetime. And I'll just want to end on this. It's it's a teaching from Kabbalah, which, by the way, it's not something that I've 100% subscribed to. I cherry pick from all different philosophies and religions and things like that. But one of the teachings is to be living as a human being on this earth is like winning the lottery, and to not take that for granted. And I just want to end with that, because I feel like, yeah, this is our time. Singers, let's all rise together. And yeah, please come along tomorrow night. Like I said, there's going to be a replay available. And also, please check out Fearless Singer on YouTube. I've got like quite a few videos that are going to come through. And the other special announcement, very quickly, is that I'll be going live on a Sunday morning, and it's going to be called the Fearless Singer Sermon. I think it's going to be called that. I don't want it to turn it into like a cult. But we're going to tap through different things of the week. So we'll have a thematic thing every week, and we're going to do a tapping session every Sunday. So this will be a place where we can gather, clear some of those blocks, and have new energy for the week. Anyway, on that note, I'll let you lovely people go. I've gone 15 minutes over. My goal is to get that right on time in future, but I feel so blessed to have had you here, and thank you so much. And if you've got any questions whatsoever, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'm at Melithurus on Instagram. You can DM me, or you can message me here on Facebook, or you can email me at hello@fearlesssinger.com. Anyway, but hopefully I'll see you tomorrow night. Talk to you soon. Bye.